Hello friends, my name is Blair and I wanted to take a couple of moments today in today's video to go over something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. Excuse me one moment. Fiona, Mom is talking. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys today about something big, something that's coming, something that will be here before you know it. It's that time of year again, DragonCon. Labor Day weekend in Atlanta, Georgia is almost upon us, so it's time to get ready to make that year-long or year-round pilgrimage to DragonCon. If you've never been before, or if you have been before, but you know, maybe are thinking about making it a normal thing, or if you just want to watch this video to hear what I'm saying about it, I've got some survival tips, some key survival tips to help you maximize the amount of fun that you're having while you're there. Stop. Mommy's working. Anyways, so a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to kind of split this up into different groups, basically just sort of different categories: basic survival, anti-theft, and then just on the horizon future type tips. This will probably be, I think this is my 5th or 6th year going. My husband has gone more years than I have, but which is ironic because I'm from Georgia and he's not. But I think this will probably be my 5th year going. And I love it. I can't get enough of it. I really look forward to it every year, and I've sort of been gradually getting more and more into it as the years go by. It's an incredibly fun time. Even if you think that you are absolutely 0% nerd, I guarantee you are wrong. Every fandom is presented at DragonCon or represented at DragonCon, and there is truly something for everybody, and honest to God, it's the best people watching, hands down, that you will ever see. So I'm going to just dive right into it. The first one is incredibly obvious, and it goes without saying. If you are from the Southeast, then you know that this is the #1 key to surviving between the months of April and October. Anywhere below Tennessee, basically, you have to hydrate. It is the only way you're going to make it through, and you will be amazed at how quickly you become dehydrated. So when I tell you to drink water, I know it seems stupid and like and completely obvious, but you'd be amazed at the people that don't drink enough water. Definitely hydrate. A lot of people take Camelbacks. A lot of people take just water bottles and they refill them at all the water fountains that are present. There are water stations set up throughout the different hotels. Nobody wants anybody passing out in their hotel lobby due to heat stroke or heat exhaustion. So it's incredibly easy to stay hydrated, and I urge you to do it. Nobody wants to ruin their fun weekend by a trip to the incredibly expensive emergency room. Anyways, the second one that also seems kind of obvious, if you've ever been to Atlanta or if you've spent any time in any sort of city, you know how expensive it can be to eat anything really at all. Meals, snacks, anything at all. It's not cheap. And also you're going to be standing in some lines. I'm assuming that if you are going and you do have your pass paid for, that there is at least 1 or 2 panels that you want to sit through. The lines for these panels can become really long. So it's important, and Brendan and I do this all the time. We pack a bunch of snacks. Both of us take backpacks, and you know, like we can, you know, like make sandwiches, or we do a lot of protein bars. Obviously, if you've ever seen a picture of my husband, you know that kid can't go too long without protein sources. So a lot of protein bars, a lot of snacks, a lot of Powerade. That goes back to hydrate, but whatever, you get the idea. So it's, you know, it's just an easier, cheaper way to help you get through your day without spending $3,000 on your meals. There is a CVS right there. It's in the food court that's right below, I believe it's the Hyatt. Anyways, so you can pack up, you know, stock up once you get there. If you are flying in, obviously it's probably going to be a little bit difficult for you to pack all that stuff up, but what I would urge you to do is, if you are flying in but you are meeting friends there that are driving in, just have them bring Ask them very nicely is how I should have started that. Ask them pretty please to bring you some snacks and any of the, you know, bottled water or whatever that you want to bring, alcohol, whatever. Just make that arrangement with them and have them, you know, meet you up with some supplies. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the incredible amount of standing and walking that you'll do. I was incredibly late to the game getting a Fitbit, and last year was my first year wearing one during DragonCon, and the amount of just steps, I think I walked 12 miles one day. It was intense. You're gonna be kind of surprised. If you've never been before, you'll be surprised at how much walking back and forth will add up. Obviously, wear comfy shoes. Wear comfy, sturdy running or walking shoes. And if you buy new shoes for this occasion, please, please, please take the time to break them in. Blisters aren't a good look. Nobody likes that. Just be ready with your comfy walking shoes. The next one is, again, kind of goes hand in hand with hydrate. It's really hot. It's really hot. I think I've been 1 year where it didn't feel like it was over 100 degrees. You're out in the humidity and you are going to be spending some time outside. Now, obviously you're not in a desert or anything. There's a lot of tall buildings surrounding you on all sides, but the sun will find you. Please bring some sunscreen. It's just important. I care a lot about sunscreen because I'm vain and I don't like sunburns. I'm pale, so I burn easily. So I constantly have sunscreen on my person. It's just important. Just bring sunscreen. It's tough. Not a lot of cosplay looks go with, you know, heavily sunburned bodies. It's just not, it's not something that typically goes with what I'm planning to wear, and I would imagine that's not going to go with what you are planning on wearing either, or your chosen characters. Hand in hand with that, this one's really, really girly, but it's just something that I've really gotten in the habit of, and it's honestly something that I can't do without for DragonCon now. My cosplays tend to veer towards pretty heavy makeup, a lot of face paint. There have been a couple of years where there have been pieces on my face, silicone molds or pieces that, you know, have been on my face. So there's a lot of adhesive, a lot of face paint, a lot of heavy makeup. So in addition to all the adhesive removers, makeup removers, and just normal face washing and moisturizing that I do, just again, because I'm super girly and I'm vain, I care about my face and how it looks. I tend to pick up a lot of those little like $3, $4 face masks just to kind of put on in the morning, just to give my face a refresher and just like a slight breather and a bit of pampering before I just put it through the motions of just clogging the shit out of my pores all over again with just a bunch of obnoxious products. Seriously, you can get them at CVS or Walgreens or Ulta. They're really pretty cheap. If you have sensitive skin like I do, just take a quick look at the ingredients. Most of them are incredibly user-friendly for people with delicate complexions like myself. So I like to do that at least 2 times during the weekend because, again, it's a lot to put your face through if you tend to veer towards any sort of cosplay with a lot of makeup involved, which I do. The next one is basically once you get there, it's a lot of people. There are like, there used to be like 4 things going on in the city of Atlanta during Labor Day weekend, and I'm not sure if there are anymore, but it's DragonCon. The Braves are always at home. Now the stadium has moved, so it's less severe, but it's still a lot of people. Like, you'll still see a big presence. You'll still feel that presence downtown. So the Braves are always playing at home. It's always like the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. It's really, really crowded. There's going to be like if you've ever been to a music festival, you know, you're not going to have cell reception. So if you are there with friends, and obviously you're not going to be able to be with that group of friends the entire time because everybody's going to want to go to different things, I would just make sure you submit your plans beforehand. If you are supposed to meet them at any given time, you know, just kind of go through your plan with them before you guys separate, because it is tough to get text through. 1 year we took walkie-talkies, which was handy, but if you don't feel like buying walkie-talkies, which why would you? You know, just kind of make a plan for the day and let your friends know where you're going to be at what specific times, if at all possible. The next one's pretty obvious, but you'd be amazed at how many people don't really pay attention to this one. And again, I'm certainly not trying to throw any shame on any of the crowd that gets there, but it is a lot of people. It is stiflingly hot. It's just so hot outside, and there are portions of DragonCon, in the vendors section or in the art show or in Marriott late at night. It gets really crowded, and you're really, really close to strangers that are going to become, just like, they're going to basically be your friends. You're going to be like chest to back. It's gross. Like, you're going to get to know the people around you real well, physically, regardless of your wishes. It's going to happen. Please bring deodorant. Like, just put it on. It's not a big deal. Just try to stay as clean as possible. I know it's hot. I know it's hard, especially if you're a girl, because our deodorant isn't as good as boys' deodorant. I don't know why. But just do the best you can in terms of deodorant application. It's for you. It's for everyone. Just give it a thought. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is, like, when you get there, especially if you haven't been there before, the three main host hotels are the Hyatt, the Marriott, and the Hilton, and they're all connected via gerbil trail, and there's a bunch of other gerbil trails that you can kind of scout out to get back and forth through the different vendor sections, vendor halls, and some of the hotels. I would take a lap when you get there. Just, download the application, download the app on your phone, just kind of find out, like, what you're interested in seeing, sort of, memorize a couple of ballroom names, and then just do a lap just to kind of get the general lay of the land. It will help you. I always do it first thing, and I've lived in Atlanta for a really long time. I work down there. I'm really familiar with all the hotels, but I still like to do a lap, the moment we get there and get our badges, just so I can kind of familiarize myself with which ballrooms are where. And just so I kind of know where everything is, it just makes the whole process more efficient for me. This next one is complicated, and I'm gonna get some flack on this one. Not everybody's gonna agree on this one. The parade is on Saturday. My group and I, we don't typically go on the parade. Brendan and I especially, we usually stay out pretty late on Fridays, so we kind of want to sleep a little bit later. Saturday is the day that my dad always joins us down there, so I always try to, I want to meet up with him as soon as he gets down there. The parade, I believe, starts at 10 every year, and it is, like 4 or 5 blocks long. It's not an insanely long parade. The entire city of Atlanta that isn't going to DragonCon, like all of Metro Atlanta, or like most of Metro Atlanta, the whole inside perimeter Atlanta, everyone descends on this like 5 to 6 block radius to witness the DragonCon parade. It's super fun for people to like bring their kids to. Everybody loves stormtroopers. It's awesome to it's a great opportunity for people that aren't going to kind of get to witness all the amazing cosplay work that goes into everybody's, cosplays. It's just a really good opportunity for them to kind of like point things out and share that with their families. I don't begrudge them that at all. It's wonderful. I love that they get to do that. We kind of recognize that we're going to see most of these people throughout the rest of the day on Saturday. The parade is insane. It's incredibly crowded. It is a solid wall of people. So if you make the decision not to go to the parade, you need to either get where you want to be later that day before, I'd say 9:30, probably, or just commit to staying in your hotel room until 12. I've almost gotten into physical fights. You have to get almost violent to get through this crowd of people. It is so extreme, and it's just solid stance and unmoving, absolutely unmoving stance. Like, you're not going to get through it. It's incredibly difficult. So just think about whether or not you want to go to the parade. If you don't want to go to the parade, get where you're going before it starts. is my advice to you. Okay, so next I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit more of the darker side of any event like this, but you know, DragonCon, because that's the one I'm going to. When you're at DragonCon, we take bags, like my husband and I, Brendan and I both have like backpacks that we wear. It's just, it helps to carry our water around and obviously our snacks. I'm not walking around with like snack wraps in my hands all day, and like a bottle of water just stuck in my shirt. I'm very, very, very careful to keep my, you know, my ID and my credit cards, any cash that I have, in definitely an inside pocket in the bag. That's a little bit harder to get to. And I keep a close eye on the bag. Like I tend to walk through the crowd with, you know, one hand on the bag strap, just because I got used to walking like that. Brendan's the same way. His badge was stolen one year. You know, when he was walking through a crowd, they come with like little clips. I always buy a lanyard. Well, I have one now, but I would suggest buying a lanyard. It makes me more comfortable to have the badge kind of around my neck where I can see it solidly attached to a lanyard. It's a little bit harder to get than just a basic clip that's attached to your pocket. Even with the lanyard, I tend to keep my badge sort of tucked into the inside of my shirt. It's easy to pull out so the people that are checking badges at the doors can see, but you're basically grabbing my breast at that point if you're trying to steal it. And I'm probably going to notice that. I'm pretty quick on the uptake when it comes to that sort of shenanigans. So it's a little bit harder for my badge to go missing or be stolen, basically. So I would advise you to invest in a lanyard, or at the very least, make sure you keep your badge very secure where, you know, it's harder to get to for anybody else in the crowd, or, you know, where it won't just fall off. Keep an eye on your wallet. Obviously, if you have your wallet, you know, in your back pocket or whatever, if you are keeping it in the backpack, don't have it on an outside pocket, have it on an inside pocket. In your hotel room, just make sure, you know, all of your stuff is sort of not laying out around like just where it's incredibly visible to anybody in the hallways. Hotel rooms get broken into all the time. It's sad but true. It's just kind of the fact of life of a big gathering like this. Sometimes that stuff just happens. So do the best you can to mitigate any of that opportunity. You know, just be cautious and aware. So some of the next things that I wanted to talk about are just a little bit more random. Like I said, a lot is going on in the city of Atlanta during the weekend of DragonCon, during Labor Day weekend. It is the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Bowl game. So it's always really interesting to see. I think it's normally SEC fans, you know, just kind of walking around. You can always spot them because they look very different than the DragonCon goers. They're always just like walking around the lobbies, and they always have very specific looks on their face. And it's really funny because it's either somebody that's been going to this game for years, so they have seen DragonCon before, but they'll still never be able to wrap their minds around it, or somebody that's never been before and they honestly didn't really know that this was going on, or they had no idea what DragonCon actually was. And, you know, even if somebody told them what to expect, there's no way that you can really be ready for DragonCon until you are actually in it and witnessing it. Be nice to the SEC fans. Be nice to the football fans. Chances are they have an inner nerd just like you and I. There's no reason that you can't love football and science fiction. There's nothing that says that. You know, it happens. It happens all the time. I myself enjoy college football from time to time on a very limited basis. Neither here nor there, but all I'm saying is if like you see one gazing upon you with sort of a baffled look, it's probably they just don't know who you're cosplaying as. They're probably not trying to throw you any shade or anything like that, but if one is shooting daggers with you, you know, with their eyes at you, then feel free to respond. But just approach their observing you with an open mind. Another thing is if you haven't gone before and this is your first time, please feel free to approach cosplayers, ask them for pictures, ask them to take pictures with them. That's what we want. Like, I love it when people recognize whatever character I dress up as. I get such a thrill out of it. If anybody compliments the work that I've put into a cosplay, it really means a lot to me. And when they want to take my picture, I'm super flattered, incredibly flattered. And I know everybody that I've ever talked to that does cosplay feels the exact same way. It's the highest compliment you can give us if you want to appreciate our work with either a compliment or a picture. We love it. Please, please, please feel free to do it. Also, you know, give cosplay a try. There are a lot of costumes that are incredibly basic, very simple, and everybody, like a lot of people will still know who you are. There was one year where my friends and I just all dressed up as Kurt Russells, and that was incredibly easy to put together. It doesn't have to be super flamboyant or super complicated or incredibly time consuming. If you want to shoot for something like that next year, awesome. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos to try and get ready for the different ideas that I want to do. And I try something different every year. And I've been relatively pleased with my results so far, even though I've only been doing it for a couple of, I think probably 3 years. This is probably the 3rd year that I've put real effort into my cosplay. And I'm gradually getting better. And I've found out that I'm really into it, in my 30s. So passion can strike you at any time. Just give it a try. If you have a fandom, if you have a thing that you love and you want to represent that thing, there is no reason that you shouldn't. So give it some thought and give it a try. And the next thing that I wanted to say is, if you are seeing this video and you maybe just bought a day pass for DragonCon and you think that next year you might want to do the full weekend, book early. Hotels sell out in seconds. They sell out so fast. So I would, keep an eye on it. I would do a little bit of research and find out when the dates open up, and I would be ready. We are very lucky. A friend of mine just is really, really retentive about that sort of thing. So he's always all over it. And then he just books a suite of rooms, and then we all kind of coordinate with him to kind of organize who gets which room. And it's fantastic. I'm not going to tell you that it's not expensive, because it is, but, we love it, and it's a big deal for us. This is like a big vacation time for Brendan and I. I take a couple of days off work, and we really make this like a big vacation for ourselves. So spending the money on a hotel down there, it's worth it to us. So if you decide that that's something that you want to look into, please book early. And as a last bit of advice, I'll basically just tell you, staying in, a lot of people really, really love staying in one of the 3 main host hotels. Like I said, it's the Hilton, the Marriott, and the Hyatt. A lot of people really love staying in those hotels where kind of all the main events and parties happen. Brendan and I decided early on, that's not really for us. It's impossible to get an elevator. You have to stand in this bank, and there's seriously, each hotel has I don't know, 50 elevators, and it's still so impossible to get one because they're so crowded at all times. In DragonCon, I've never seen a bank of elevators in one of those 3 hotels not be swarmed with people at all times. And that alone just makes it not worth it. But also, we kind of staying at one of the other hotels that's, still very much within walking distance. There's the Blue Indigo is right across the street from the Hyatt. There's the Westin. We stayed in the Ellis one year. All of these hotels are within very, very, very easy walking distance, seriously 1 or 2 blocks. And it's just worth it to us to kind of have that one layer of separation from the madness that is the 3 main host hotels, and where we end up sleeping. It's just worth it to us. So I would just kind of go over that decision, find out if that's worth it for you, and then move forward from there. DragonCon is amazing. It is such a good time. It's such a wonderful, absolutely insane time. We really love it. I'm really looking forward to it again this year. Lots of great people are going to be making an appearance. I'm excited to kind of shake a lot of hands and meet these people. One of my favorite vendors is coming back. Well, I say vendors. One of my favorite artists is coming back. So I think I'm gonna try and maybe make a purchase or two there. I always get Brendan's birthday from here. It's always nerd art. He always loves it. It's really fun, but following some of this advice will, I think, be really beneficial into maximizing the fun that you might have. So give it some thought, and I hope to see you there. And if you guys are interested, I might make another video about my cosplays from this year and post it quickly after DragonCon is up. If you have any interest in seeing that, I'll post a link. I run a very small blog. I'll post a link below. And obviously, just keep an eye out. If you feel like subscribing, knock yourself out. And then I'll post my social media below too. So if you want to see just the pictures, you don't care about my voice or my video, then just take a look at my Instagram. All right. Well, it's been a blast, and I can't wait to see you guys there. And Fiona says she's really sorry about all that noise she was making earlier. That super distracting noise. She's sorry. Mommy loves you. Anyways, thanks. Sorry my dog was making so much noise.